Hi everyone, welcome to another C++ tutorial, and today's topic is going to be about integers. So in Visual Studio here, I have the int main function, which I'll be using to demonstrate the functions of integers. What are all the things that can be done with integers? And before that, I want to introduce the concept of variables. So a variable is an item which is used to store a type of data. And the type of data today, we're going to be storing integers. So to store integers, we do int. We can name the variable, let's call it x. And then we do equals, and then we give it a value, an integer value of, let's say, 4. So here what we have is we have a variable and we named it x. It can be called anything, a, x, b. For now, let's call it x, and the type of variable that we're storing is int, and this would mean that it is an integer, and the value we're storing is 4. So let's print this out, and to print out, we need the IOStream library, and also let's use the namespace std. And let's use the character output function and use this is the insertion operator, and then we print out x. Notice from the previous video that we did not include the std here, std::, and the reason why is because we're doing the using namespace std at the top. If you haven't already watched that video, I'll be linking that on the screen. Go watch that first. But that is essentially the reason. So let's print this out. So we can see here the value 4 is being printed out because we're printing out character output, and we're printing out the variable x, but the data it's storing is an integer and the value is 4. So that's why the number 4 is being printed out. So the other things that can be done with an integer is we can do addition. Let's say 4 plus 4. Now let's run this file. And we can see the value 8 is being printed out. So 4 plus 4 is 8, and we're storing that value inside x, which is of type integer, and we're printing out this value x. We can also have two different variables. Let's say int y, and we could say y is of value 5. Let's print this out separately. So we have here 4 and then 5 being printed out. 4 is x and then 5 is y. We can also do y equals 5 plus x. So what this will do is it'll have 5 plus x. The value of x is 4, so we do 5 plus 4 and store that inside y. So when we print out x and y, we should get 4 and then a 9. let's put a space in between the numbers so that we're able to see it properly. So we have here 4 and then 9. 4 is the value of x and then 9 is y. The other operations that can be done are minus. So 5 minus 4. So x will be 4, y will be 5 minus x, and the value of x, as we know, is 4. So 5 minus 4 is 1. So we should see 4 and then 1 being printed out. So we have 4 and then 1. Another operation is this asterisk operator, which means multiplication. So x equals 4, y will equals 5 times x, 5 times 4, which is 5 fours are 20. And let's print this out. So we see here 4 and then 20. We could do divide symbol. So 5 divided by 4. For simplicity, let's let x equals 5. So 5 divided by 5 is going to be 1. So we see here the value of 5, which is x, and then 1 is the value of y. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. So there's also the modulo symbol, which is denoted by the percentage. So let's start with 0. So the way modulo works is so 0 modulo x, so x is 5. So 0 modulo x will be 0. And then as the left hand operand increases, it will go until 5, not including 5. So it'll go up to 4, but then when it goes to 5, it'll go back to 0 again. So here we can see y is 0, and let's print out 3. The value of y will be 3 again. And if it goes to 5, then it comes back down to 0. As we can see here, it comes back down to 0. And then 6 will be 1, 7 will be 2, and so far, all the way up to 10, where it goes back to 0 again, and this cycle will continue. So that's how modulo works. So we already seen the cout function, which outputs the integers. It can output other things as well, but for now, since we're dealing with integers, it outputs the integers. But let's say we want to take in an integer value that is being entered by the user. In that case, what we will do is there's another function called character input, and this operator greater than, and we do x. And what this essentially does, it takes a value for x and then stores it inside x. So let's use cout to help the inputter to input a value. Please input an integer value for x. Let's have end it with a semicolon. So yeah, every line in C++ must end with a semicolon. And let's finally print out the value of x. Okay, so in line number 7, we say please input an integer value for x. This cin will wait for the user to input a value for x. So let's say we enter 10, x will have the value of 10, and then output cout x will print out whatever was entered by the user. So let's try this out. As you can see, it's asking for an integer value. Let's output 10, and we can see here that the value 10 is being outputted. And so that's how we can use cin, character input, to get a value for x. The integer also has ranges, and the ranges, and by range I mean like a max and min values that the integer type can store. And using the limits library, we can figure out exactly what those numbers are. So let's print out the maximum for integers. So this numerical limits type has the method called min, which will return the minimum value for integers. And there's also a similar method for the max. So we see here that the minimum value is a large negative value, a very small negative value, and the maximum is I'm not going to read that, but the maximum is a large positive integer. And so what happens if it goes above the max? Let's try this out. So what happens if we go above the max? And let's try out what happens if we go 1 minus the minimum. So let's print out x, let's print out y. Okay, so if we go for x, since we're going 1 above the maximum, we end up with the lowest possible value. And for y, if we go 1 minus the lowest possible value, we go to the largest possible integer. And this is what we call as wrapping around. So if we increase the largest positive value by 1, we go back to the negative, and vice versa. So there you have it. It's a quick tutorial on C++ integers. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be putting out more C++ content. And thanks for watching.